Hey, what's up, everyone? Got a quick update video from my second uh, chemo treatment this week, as well as how golf went last week. I know I mentioned, I think, on my last video that I was going to try to get out and go golfing. So, give an update on how that went. We've got some packs to open up today too, so we'll get into those. I guess we'll start chronologically, go with the golf. Went golfing on Friday and was only about able to swing at like 50% initially. But as the day went on, started to loosen up and was able to get probably 60-70%. And so I was actually hitting the ball pretty well, at least off the tee, but I really wasn't hitting like irons. So, I'd hit a drive and then a 3-wood, and we played this course, Little Mill, which if anybody in New Jersey has played it before, really, really hard course, tough to putt. So I shot a 98, and I was pretty happy with that because it was a 98 where I just putted terribly, and I haven't golfed in months, so that was to be expected. But off the tee was in almost every fairway, and it wasn't very far, but it was in the fairway, and I'll be happy with that. So it felt like my score, although not that great for how I would normally play, wasn't bad because of how I felt, which was good. I played all 18 holes. Really didn't get too tired. I've been sore. Today's the first day I haven't been sore though. My legs were sore, my neck was a little sore, my back was a little sore, but like again, I haven't really done anything physically active in a couple months, basically, because everything even leading up pre-surgery, I was feeling terrible. So, to be expected that I was going to be a little sore coming out of it. So yeah, all things considered, went pretty well. So that was Friday. And then, like I said, sore the past few days. But then I had the second chemo treatment yesterday, and so we got there pretty early because we actually meet with the oncologist, Dr. Cohen, before each treatment. He goes over how I'm feeling and everything there. And like I said, he went over the the results from the PET scan, which they kind of saw everything they already knew about. They did indicate that there are some potential other areas in my hip bone, but we're unsure. It was not as like easily noticeable as the other things. And I had mentioned to them post surgery that I've been getting like kind of coming and going when I do a lot of activity or even just like a long walk. I would feel like a pain in my hip. And they said that if it was cancer, it would probably be a lot more painful and not go away. So, they're unsure, and they said we'll probably get an MRI and more imaging once I've had a few more treatments, because they could do an MRI now, but it's not going to change the chemo treatment. It would be, I'd still be doing the full Fox. It wouldn't change anything there. So he was basically, no need to put you through more imaging. You've already done enough imaging. It might tell us something, but it's not going to change anything right now. The only time it would change something is when we go to have surgery later, which is, in 6 to 8 weeks. So, either way, I'm not overly concerned because, like I said, it is not, the pain that I'm having is not consistent with what they were describing. Typically, like if it was in the bone, they said it would be nice. It would be pretty painful, and that is not the case. And one thing to know too, with how the PET scan looks at looks internally, it's looking for inflammation and where your body is like fighting inflammation, and it looks like glucose levels in those areas. So that's why it took so long to be able to get a PET scan, is I just had surgery. So it's very possible that I just have like inflammation in that hip post-op because I pushed it a little too hard, and that's what they're seeing. So just because there's something there doesn't necessarily mean it's like absolutely cancer. My colon shows up just because I have ulcerative colitis. So, it's there, and obviously we'll keep an eye on it. But like I said, it's not going to change the chemo treatment. We'll find out in a couple weeks when we go to do more imaging from just to see how chemo's going, and we'll find out. We'll get more clarity then. Like I said, I'm not too concerned, but other than that, they did blood work beforehand too, and everything looked good. I bounced back well. Actually, some of my numbers were better in some areas than last time, but I think that could be just from recovering from surgery too. So, but yeah, blood work was good. So they obviously went forward with the chemo, and they actually added another medication that they didn't the first time around, called bevacizumab or something like that, and it basically just helps the chemo work better. They didn't do it the last time because basically what it does is it like kind of ruins blood flow to the tumors, but it can also slow healing. And so they didn't want to do it coming out of surgery. So he was on the fence, coming in before talking to me. And then he, once we got to talk through it, I told him I was doing well. He's like, all right, then I feel comfortable, adding this in to your treatment this week. So they added that, which you might be able to tell my voice is pretty raspy. That was one of the main things they said could come from that. No like sore throat or anything, just raspiness. So is what it is. I kind of already had a raspy voice before, so not too bad. But and then treatment was good. I have a little bit more of the like tingliness in my hands than I did the previous time, but it's not painful. It's just there. And let's go Full Art Crobat. Very cool card right there. Awesome. So yeah, the like I said, tingliness is there, but it's not painful. It just kind of feels like my arm is asleep or something, hands falling asleep. And then otherwise I feel good. I'll expect that tomorrow, when they come and unplug the, because I still have the port in, you can kind of see it sticking out. That's still going and giving me the last kind of dose of, I forget what medication it is, but the main dosage, they said, 48 hours of that. So somebody will come tomorrow, unhook that, and then tomorrow night, afternoon is when I'll probably start feeling a little crappy. But, last time it was headache. They said it could be a little bit more intense with some of the other side effects, but, what I had last time is kind of what should be expected. So, we'll see how that goes tomorrow. But, right now feeling good, and, potentially going back to work next week. We're going to see how I feel. I was texting with my manager today, and, physically I feel like I'll be fine. It's more like, mentally getting back into like, let's do work when, let's go. I think this is the second time I've pulled this card. It's one of the best artworks in the set, Frogadier. really, really cool card. That's the rarest card in the set is what this one evolves into, and so all three of them are expected to be like pretty long-term good cards to have. So man, two really good pulls on the stream as usual with how these have, or I keep saying stream, with these videos, how things are going. So awesome. But yeah, so gonna see how I feel going back to work. We said, probably take it slow. Won't because I'm still gonna have, like, I'll be in for a week, and then the next week I have chemo again. So but at the same time, like, being home all day, I obviously can't golf every day. And the heat is obviously heating up. So, like, I'm just kind of sitting around and trying to do what I can around the house, but there's just not a ton. I've kind of watched all of everything that I want to watch, Marvel shows and things like that. So, unsure a little bit as far as how going back to work is going to be. At the same time, like, pretty bored around the house and ready to look for something else to do. So that was actually my last pack, and I don't really have too much else to update on. Like I said, feeling good, and we'll see tomorrow and Friday, but is what it is if I don't feel great. But again, thanks for everybody for checking these out. Really appreciate it. Keep hearing from people too. It's been awesome. So thanks again. See you guys later. Bye.